Welcome to Creative Moves, a podcast where we're in conversation with someone who made their mark in a chosen profession before stepping away from that world to pursue something entirely different. My name's Kabir, and today I'm talking to Zuza Zak, an author, food and culture writer and broadcaster. Prior to that, Zuza worked for TV networks as a promo producer and creative. Zuza, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kabir.
Basically, love to hear about your journey from promo production to author, food and culture writer and broadcaster, and just to hear a bit of your story.
So I started off, my education was kind of in art and archaeology from a sort of African and Asian perspective. I went to SOAS and I thought I was going to get into documentary films. But then I sort of, because I've been catering for a really long time, doing kind of waitressing, cocktail waitressing,
Is that while you were at uni?
Yeah, all the way through uni. So
Right.
I did a BA and an MA, and I was in the catering industry all that time. And then I thought a way in to the TV industry would be to be a runner.
Right.
Because as a runner, you're just kind of basically like waitressing. You know, you're running around getting stuff, running errands, that kind of thing.
I guess, yeah, and back in the day when people would go into suites, sound suites or picture suites, you're taking in their lunch orders and you're learning how to deal with clients from that perspective.
Exactly. So I already had all those kind of skills to be a runner.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into the industry. But after being a runner for a while, I was in a post-production company. I got into bookings. And then being in bookings and working for a post-production company, I saw lots of people coming in, clients, and loads of them were promo producers. And they just seemed to have like a really exciting life. And all their promos were really fun. And I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do. So that became the new goal.
Right.
And I guess I just kind of worked towards that goal from coordinating bookings and then becoming a coordinator at Discovery and then slowly.
Okay. So basically you were like, how do I become a promo producer? If I work for a channel, then I can maybe work my way into that role from the inside. So you did what you did at the post-production company at the channel. That's a good move.
Exactly. So then I kind of just worked my way into that, and that suited me really well, actually, because I was a terrible coordinator.
Yeah,
Really
because
not very
for anybody who doesn't understand the role of a promo producer, it's very creative. You're making effectively the TV commercial for a program on a channel. So
Exactly. It's a trailer, I guess.
Yeah.
That's how I explain it to people.
yeah, and coordination is project management.
Yeah, exactly. That suited me so much better. I mean, I was okay at coordinating in terms of, there's a lot of people skills involved.
Yes.
So I feel like I was good at that, talking to people. And I mean, I can be quite organised, but just nowhere near on the level that is really needed to be really in production management.
Yeah. I used to work at a post-production company, and I remember the first time I was in sales, I spoke to a client. They wanted to book an online suite, and I was really proud of myself. I booked it in and I showed the bookings manager, and she was like, yeah, she said, that's all great, but you haven't put an editor on it. And I was like, what? She was like, well, there's no editors available. And I was like, right, okay, yeah, so that's definitely... my brain is not suited for that sort of role. So like you, I would have been terrible at coordination.
Oh, no.
So you got into Discovery as a coordinator, and then you were able to
Eventually, yeah.
Oh,
so I
right.
worked as a coordinator for a while, and I do remember lots of mishaps in that time. But somehow, when the role of a promo producer came up, I went for it and I got it. And that was also a steep learning curve. It's not like you're just like, oh, I'm creative, so I'm going to be great at this. Actually, there's a lot of things to take into consideration in that role, which is sort of a script writing, and then all the footage side of it, and then like the music, and then eventually, at first we worked with editors, but eventually we ended up doing our own edits. So I had to learn editing as well.
How did you find that?
It wasn't easy, but now I know how to do it. It's great having that skill.
Yeah.
So now I'm teaching myself InDesign, and I'm a lot more confident because I know that I can just teach myself from videos on YouTube to do anything really.
Right. That's amazing. That's good. That's good to know that. I struggle with videos or manuals because I'm much better in person.
Yeah.
So it's great that you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but I think once you've got your kind of vision and you're putting visuals together, once you've got all the technical stuff down, it just kind of happens without you even thinking about it. At the beginning, it's really stop-start and really annoying, but then
Yeah.
It becomes like second nature.
I guess, and because like you say you'd had an editor anyway before, so you watched that process, so you understood what
Yes.
needed to be done.
Yeah.
But you just needed to be able to work the software as opposed to never having seen an edit take place and go, what the hell do I do now?
Exactly. So first I started, Final Cut, and then I learned all the other softwares as well.
Right.
And then it really increases your confidence learning skills like that.
And how was it becoming a promo producer? How quickly do you think you settled into that role?
I settled into it quite quickly, but then after about a year, we all got made redundant.
Right.
And then my next job actually wasn't in promo production anymore. It was in script writing for Sky.
Okay.
So I was writing scripts for Sky One, for example, which is live.
Wow.
And I was editing other people's scripts. And that actually really helped me develop my writing skills, which came in useful later.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I can imagine that's quite high pressure as well.
Yeah.
Live is...
because a lot of it's live. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I didn't start off live. I started off on the other channels, and then eventually I went to the live one.
Wow. And then did you go back to promo producing, or?
I did. After a few years there, a friend of mine from Discovery actually gave me a call, and he was working at Disney, and he asked if I wanted to work with him.
Right.
And at that point, I wanted to freelance.
Right. Okay. So meaning you could be a gun for hire working on your own terms.
After commuting sort of 3 hours a day for about 3 years, I'd just had enough of having to go to the other side of London every single day. It was really wearing me out.
So where were you living? Were you living in East London or something?
I was living in East London, and I was travelling to Osterley.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing that people don't really realise. And when you get a job at Sky, it is a long way from East London or North London or South London.
It's really far, and it was 3 hours on a good day.
Right.
So the thing was, because I found that whole commute and everything quite sort of soul destroying, I then started working on another project. I started working on my own kind of food blog and also writing a cookbook.
Oh, at the same time?
Yes, I was basically getting up half an hour or 45 minutes earlier every morning and just trying to do like half an hour to 40 minutes of writing before my commute in, because that commute was just really soul destroying for me. So I felt like I needed something, and it gave me a lot of energy, because then I did the writing, and then throughout the whole journey I was thinking about it.
That's interesting. So you were using it almost like a mechanism to get through the commute, but also I imagine it's something that you'd wanted to do. You'd had in your mind that you wanted to write.
I'd always had it in my mind that I wanted to do something which put Polish food in a different light.
Right.
Because everyone just had really bad opinions about Polish food, and it really annoyed me.
Yeah.
But that was ongoing for years and years.
Yeah. And how long did it take you to write the book?
Oh, God, about 5 years, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, about 5 years, because I was writing it so slowly.
Sure.
But, it was
you
very
stop-start. You needed a longer commute, Zuza.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God, that commute was a nightmare. But yeah, it was very stop-start. So I started off by writing an article, and then I showed it to a friend of mine. She was like, why don't you write a book? Because that will be more effective than just an article.
Yeah.
And then I started doing it as a way of kind of like having my own little project.
Yeah.
Not really knowing what to do with it. And then I got to a certain point where I did start sending it off to publishers that accepted non-solicited proposals. That means without an agent, basically. And usually it was just sort of tumbleweed, like no response at all. I remember getting one rejection, and I was so happy to get that rejection because someone had actually read it and given me some really nice feedback.
Right. Amazing. And did you then did you act on the feedback and then send it back into them and get a different reaction, or? They
said it wasn't for them.
Right.
But I did act on the feedback, and it kind of just encouraged me to keep going.
Wow, yeah.
And then at one point, I basically sort of stopped doing it because I think I'd been writing the book for so long, and I was freelancing at lots of different places, and I was sort of enjoying that and enjoying my social life in London. And I guess I was a bit disheartened with how the book proposal was going. And also I didn't have that commute anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess it stalled at some point. And then I had my sliding doors moment, because you asked me to think about that.
Which was?
So basically I met my partner Yassine.
Yeah.
And through him, I met his friend who I was talking to about my book and about how I'd stalled and I wasn't sure where it was going to go. And he knew an agent. I think he had tried to work with her before. It didn't work out, but he knew her. So he gave me her details. And really that kind of changed everything.
Right. So you basically, you reached out to her. She was interested.
I reached out to her. She'd never published a cookbook before, so she said, "This isn't my niche.
Okay,
but I am interested. Maybe we could give it a go." And we did give it a go, and something came out of it.
And did you have an editor, or how did you edit the book yourself?
I had an editor once I got the publishing deal.
Right.
They gave me an editor.
Right. Okay.
So the book was very long by then, because I've been writing it for so many years, and I think about half of it was edited out.
Right. Wow. And then so were there photographs in the book? I imagine there were. And did you take photos at the same time and include them, or did that come through the publisher?
For the proposal, I had a few photos that I liked the kind of atmosphere of, so I included them in the proposal. And then we found the photographer with the publisher together to reflect the kind of vibe I wanted the book to have. So that first book that I wrote was really a huge eye-opener. Like, I had no idea, there was a prop stylist, a food stylist. Yeah. It was a completely new process to me.
I mean, it's interesting. So in the commercials world, you'll have like a food director, and they'll have like literally, like you say, an art department for food. Yeah. And it's not real food. With your photos though, was it real meals that you were photographing?
Yes, absolutely. So in the cookbook world, you do real meals. And when the photographer came to Poland, me and my mum just cooked loads and loads of meals, and she did the styling as well. But when we did the shoot in London, there was other people cooking, and I was just sort of helping and overseeing it. And actually, it's a really useful process, because then you can change your recipes, because you're getting feedback. Sometimes if you've cooked something a lot of times, you forget obvious steps or things.
So your parents are both Polish?
They're both Polish. My dad his family, my grandma was from Lithuania, but she considered herself Polish.
Yeah.
And his dad was born, we think, in Belarus.
Right.
But a lot of his family is from Kazakhstan as well.
Okay.
So it was kind of Polish, but kind of mixed up Polish.
Yeah, right.
And then my second cookbook, actually, I went to the Baltic states, including Lithuania.
Right.
And I kind of explored that region.
And the reason I asked about your parents was, did you grow up cooking or with Polish meals and then start to learn to cook them? Is that where your your idea or your passion for Polish food came from?
It started because I lived in Poland until I was nearly 8.
Oh, right, okay.
And my parents were working all the time, and my grandmas kind of brought me up when I was there, and they were cooking all the time. So it all started in my grandma's kitchens.
Wow.
And then when we came to England, we couldn't get out for a very long time because we needed to get our passports. So food was like a way of connecting to my childhood and my family.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And do you mostly cook Polish food, or do you do that and English food? Or
I would say I cook food from all over the world.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, I love to collect recipes.
Right.
But if you look on my Instagram, then you'll probably see mostly Polish and East European food, because I think that's what people are mostly interested in from me.
Right.
Although you might see other influences as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely my food at home is a mixture of all different things, and Polish and East European food is a part of that.
Right. And so going back to you got your publishing deal. Were you still working at that point as a promo producer?
I
Freelance?
was. Yeah, so I was still freelancing. And at that point, so when I had my publishing deal, I actually got pregnant very soon after.
Right.
And so I was kind of writing the book while heavily pregnant with terrible sickness.
Right. Oh my God.
So it wasn't really the amazing few months that I wanted it to be, because I was
I had
just
an image
feeling
of you
so
sitting
sick.
at the typewriter in the bay window. You're like, no, that didn't happen, Kabir.
Well, yeah, I mean, there were moments like that. I would have to find like the hour in the day where I felt okay to have those moments and to kind of appreciate it. But there was a lot of cooking and a lot of feeling sick as well.
Right.
And the fish chapter was a complete nightmare.
Right. Is that because you just couldn't stand the...
I couldn't, it was just, I was just sort of feeling terrible. Yeah.
Right.
So when the book came out, my daughter was just a few months old. And I did go back after a few months to do some freelance promo producing work.
Right.
At that point, I was doing a lot of work at the Food Network.
Okay.
Which was really fun because I was basically...
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you love
especially for
food,
me.
so,
Yeah, exactly. So that was like one of my most fun jobs I had, you know, just editing promos for all kinds of food shows. And I was doing a lot of Polish food shows as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, so it was kind of perfect. Yeah. But then when I tried to go back after having Delphina, oh God, I think I went back too early because I was just a mess. You know, I think, my boobs were hurting. I was forgetful, I forgot something at home. I remember I had to go back and I couldn't stay, and I just wanted to be with the baby because my boobs were sort of and then, I kind of realized very quickly that it wasn't going to work with both me and my partner in TV freelancing, because it's like feast or famine. It's fine if you don't have a baby. I mean, for some people it might be fine with a baby as well, but where I was at emotionally and physically and mentally and everything, I couldn't give the kind of commitment to these sort of projects that people wanted to see. I mean, maybe I could commit to a couple of promos and people would be like, great, can we have some more promos, please? And I'd be like, normally that's what you want, to get more and more work. Yeah. But actually, I kind of wanted to be at home with the baby.
Yeah. And also, I guess the book has been published at this point as well. So there's also a pull from...
Exactly.
What could that opportunity be for you?
I was doing a lot of PR work for the book as well. Yeah. And that's kind of a job in itself as well. So that seemed a lot more conducive to the first, to being there for my child for the first few years.
And so you went back after a few months. So how long did you stay before you just thought, I can't do this anymore?
Well, because it was freelance work, I did the promos that I had to do.
Right, okay.
But there was one particularly fateful moment where I needed to do a bit of extra work on one promo. And Yaz, my partner, was just starting a job, and we had the child with us, and we were in the same office. She was upstairs with him, and I was downstairs trying to do something, and he was trying to do something. And she was playing with some stuff in a box that he'd checked the box before, and he checked that it was safe. But in the meantime, someone threw some batteries in there. Some of those little batteries.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And I went upstairs and I saw that one of the batteries was why are the batteries in front of her? And one of them's missing. Turned out she'd swallowed a battery. And we spent 24 hours at Great Ormond Street Hospital waiting for this battery to come out, thinking she might have to be operated on. And that was the end for me. I was like, I can't do this.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine how you both felt.
It was awful.
Yeah. But obviously it did come out and she was fine.
It did actually come out. She didn't have to be operated on.
Yeah.
But it was such a traumatic experience that I thought, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, I'm feeling that for you now. Yeah, I couldn't, So Okay, it's a really easy decision to make in that situation.
Yeah, it really put things into perspective for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't actually do this because someone is sort of asking me to change this very small thing on a promo over and over and over again, which is normal in that industry, and it's fine if you've got the time to do it.
And in context, it is very important, but in the grand scheme of things, you're like, okay, right, I'm going to stop that and focus on food full time.
Yeah. So I then basically, I focused on my book promotion. I actually started a supper club.
Okay.
Yeah, which was also quite stressful in itself.
Yes, I was going to say, like, that's no small feat.
Yeah.
For how many people were you catering?
It was only about 20, and it was in a little a little flower shop.
Right.
Where we were living in
whereabouts?
Hither Green, because we'd moved to Hither Green.
Right. I mean, it sounds lovely, a flower shop in Hither Green,
It
but
was
20
lovely.
people sounds a lot.
It was quite squished, and they
No,
didn't
I mean
have a
in terms
kitchen.
of
and
responsibility.
Also, yeah, because it was sort of a 5-course meal.
Okay, let's make things easier.
Exactly.
Right.
But you know what? I did it on my own terms. So it's
Sure.
not like I did one supper club after another. I did
Yeah.
one every maybe 2 months or something.
Right.
And then I knew I'd block that period out.
Yeah.
It would be when Yaz didn't have any work, and I'd be like, okay, this week, this is what we're doing.
How much time would you need to allow in order to fulfill that? So if you're doing a supper club, for example, on the Friday, would you have the whole week booked out for that, blocked out, or?
Maybe not the whole week. Basically, first you do the promotion and make sure you sell enough tickets.
Yeah.
So that's quite easy. You can do that, as long as you've got a reasonable kind of social media following and that kind of thing. Sometimes you could do like promotional things, which I like. If I had a couple of spare tickets, I might do like a competition or something like that, which was a really nice thing to do as well. And then in terms of the cooking, first you get the ingredients, so that takes at least a day. And then the cooking itself would take me about 3 days.
Right.
It's always good to have a bit of extra time because there's always something that comes up. So once I was doing it in the sweltering heat, this was my first one actually. It was for midsummer.
Right.
And my fridge broke. So like in the middle of this cooking saga.
I mean, it wasn't the oven, but hey, that sounds like a nightmare.
In the heat wave like we have at the moment, it was really, really difficult. And I was so stressed that Yaz had to buy the other fridge because I couldn't even talk to people on the phone because I was just in such a panic.
And you'd sold all your tickets. You had
sold all my tickets.
20 people coming.
Exactly. It was my first one. I just wanted it to go well.
Yeah.
And, and I'd already cooked half the stuff and I needed to put it in the fridge.
Right. So you were cooking everything at home?
Yes, because actually this little flower shop didn't have a kitchen, so I'd bring my own stove and just warm things up. And
were you able to make a living doing that?
You don't make that much money out of it, but you get a little bit of money from book sales. You get a little bit of money from people wanting you to write recipes for like food magazines and things like that.
Okay.
And then maybe a little bit from the supper club. It's not like it's enough to make a living, but it's enough if you're doing childcare as well.
Sure.
Because you're either like have a job and you're paying for childcare, or you're doing the childcare and you're doing, building something
around it. Yeah,
exactly.
So I'm interested. You just said when you're writing recipes for magazines. So is that? I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. So if you have a cookbook out, you have a lot of promotional stuff, and then some magazines actually pay as well. And then they'll come back to you if they like your recipes and things like that.
So they'll say, okay, we love this new book you've written. We'd like you to give us a recipe for this edition.
Exactly.
Based around something or?
Yes. So it might be around Christmas or Easter or travel or something like that.
I mean, it's not anything I've ever thought about, but now you say it, it makes complete sense that all the recipes have to come from somewhere.
Exactly.
They're not just recipes that people have got hanging around.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and actually, so before I did my supper club, I actually went to a supper club. Alyssa Timoshkina used to have a supper club, so I cooked for her supper club.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it.
Right.
And then I set up my own little supper
And
club.
how did it compare cooking for someone else's to running your own, with or without the fridge breaking down?
Well, mine was much smaller than her
Right.
one. Her one was for like 50 people or something.
Right.
So after that, the smaller one seemed like a much sort of more doable kind of enterprise.
And so how long did you do the supper clubs for?
I did that for a couple of years.
Right.
And in the meantime, I was trying to get my second book off the ground,
Yeah.
which was Amber and Rye. But my publisher didn't go for that. So then I found a different publisher to publish
Right.
that one.
And was that an easy process, or how was that? Were you back to sending out? I guess you had a name at that point, so it was almost a little bit easier.
Yes, it was definitely easier, but people didn't really. At that point, the feedback was a little bit like, yeah, we've had enough East European food. So I was
Right.
like, no, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
So I did have to convince people all over again.
Right. And how did the book do for you?
You know, Polska did really, really well. Amber and Rye, I got a really big advance. So I'm still paying that advance back because
Right.
it was much bigger. So that's the thing about the advance, is that, you know, if you have a smaller advance, it takes less time to pay it back.
Yeah. And yeah, that's interesting. But I guess obviously the beauty of the advance is that it means you get money straight away.
Exactly.
So it's sort of almost like a loan from
Yes.
buy now, pay later type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you pay back from your royalties.
And are you charged interest on the duration, or is it just you're given an
No.
advance and then it's like you pay X amount based out of
think-
your royalties?
7 out of 10 books don't even pay back their advance.
Right.
Polska did really well, so
Right.
it paid back its advance within a year. But then the advance wasn't that big, and then this one was really big. But then after that, on my third book, I actually went back to my old publisher because the second publisher didn't want my third book.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. So
A lot
and did
of
they take
people-
you back?
They did, yeah. And there was actually 2 publishers interested.
Right.
And one of them was now run by someone who I worked with, who used to work for the first publisher.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
in that sense, it's not like a record deal where you get three album releases. It's like literally per book.
Some people do, you know, some people do. And actually, I think the advice is often to stay with one publisher.
Right.
So I'm kind of an anomaly
Right.
because my agent was just like, no, she lives in New York and she's just like, you know, let's try this, let's try that, you know, whereas
Right.
the advice is usually like stay with one publisher, whereas I've kind of just, you know, been around.
And is it the same agent that you first met?
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
still with them?
I'm still with that agent and I've published 4 books now. The
Right.
4th one, again, was with a different publisher.
Right.
But now my 5th book, I think I might actually self-publish
Right.
because, you know, the process is you send out lots of proposals and you kind of see what sticks. And I sent out a proposal that I really, really believed in and I had loads of good feedback about it. I don't think I want to reveal exactly what it's about yet.
No, please
That's
don't.
okay.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But it's just, I had lots of good feedback, but then it was, I didn't get a deal. And it was more people sort of saying things like, you know, it's a bit ahead of its time, or you're not a nutritionist. So I decided to become a nutritionist. I'm doing a nutritionist course right now. And publish the book myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And what does that actually involve?
Well, I'm learning what it involves right now. It involves learning InDesign.
Right.
If you want to do the design yourself.
Okay.
Which a lot of people don't. But I thought I wanted to invest in an illustrator that I really loved.
Right.
So I chose an illustrator that I've worked with before. And I've basically invested in that. And everything else I kind of want to learn to do myself.
Yeah. And how long does it take for so you create the book, like the template? I don't know, what is it called? The manuscript? No.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess it's going to be like a manuscript or just a book design.
Yeah.
And you have a cover. And well, now the opportunities are amazing because you used to have to invest a lot and buy lots of copies.
Yeah, so like a print run, whereas now I guess...
Now it's print on demand.
Okay, so...
Yeah, so I want to give it a go because it's going to be a book for kids.
Right.
I do want to say that much. And I thought because it's for kids, I can just make it really fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be this kind of beautiful, perfect, like all my other books, they're so beautiful. And I do want this one to be beautiful too, but for kids, it can be more fun.
Right.
And I want to make it quite retro as well. So then it kind of, I think that aesthetic will kind of work.
And so that's really interesting that you do have the ability, like you say, to self-publish. And initially it sounds like a massive thing, but I guess what you're saying is you can break it down into manageable elements. And the reality is that you don't have to invest in 10,000 books for X amount in order to make Y percentage. You can just literally sell it online. If people buy it, they get sent it and it gets printed on demand.
Exactly. So now it's not such a huge investment.
Right.
Obviously, it's a big investment of my time, but I'm enjoying the challenge.
Yeah. And how does that work for selling in bookstores, for example? Would they basically go, right, we'll buy 5?
I'm not sure how it works, to be honest, because I know that I can sell in bookstores if I pay for my own ISBN.
Right.
But I'm just going to focus on selling online for the time being, because I don't feel like, I already have my book in bookstores. I have a lot of my books, and, I go to one bookstore and they've got 2 of my books. I go to another one, they've got 1 of my books.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But most of my sales are actually on Amazon anyway.
Right. So I'm interested to know then what you feel the benefit of having a publisher is, because it sounds like you can sort of do it yourself.
You can. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, of course.
And I guess we'll see what the result is.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to publish it unless I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
But it is quite high stakes, because I do want to make it look, comparable to my other books, which
so
are all very beautiful.
You're investing in that. So the risk for you is that it doesn't shift and you don't recoup the money that you've put into it. But I guess the reward for you is if it does shift, you keep all of the profit.
A lot of the profit.
Right.
It's a lot more. It's a lot bigger percentage than what you would get in a publisher. So, the publishers also organise all your marketing and things like that for you, all the publicity. But because I have a lot of contacts, I'm hoping that I can at least do a percentage of that myself.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier that having the skill of being an editor has helped you with what you're doing now. So presumably you do all your own marketing content.
Yes, I mean, a lot of it. I think marketing thing is the whole world is changing so much right now. I think a lot of the marketing now is kind of just going on podcasts and things like that, and online stuff. And I think
Instagram.
Yeah. So I have built up an audience on Instagram. I've now started Substack.
Right.
I've revived my blog because I kind of stopped doing that for a while. Everything's really changing really fast now. So I mean, I'm not kind of at the forefront of all of that, but I'm just trying to keep up and just staying quite flexible with how I do stuff.
And so with your blog, you mentioned that you, when you were promo producing and you were in your 5-year period of writing your first book, you were blogging then? Is that when you started?
Yes. So I was blogging for a long time. And then at some point, I think I just had too much on my plate.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting that second book deal for quite a while, and I started a PhD, which I've had to stop because then I got pregnant again. And it had too much on my plate.
There's a lot going on, Zuza.
I'm awaiting an ADHD diagnosis. I think this is like the crucial element, because I think...
But it sounds like you're able to take it on as well, which is amazing.
I can, and I think in a way, because I know I'm pretty sure I have it, even without the diagnosis, now like everything seems to make sense to me.
Right.
I just take too much on. That's what I always do. And now I know that about myself. I'm learning to commit properly to things and say no to other things.
Right.
Because that's just what I do. I just take on loads and loads and loads of stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm overwhelmed and I get burnout.
Yeah, I know that feeling very well. And what's the reaction been to your blog since you've started it up? Did you have, presumably you had followers before. Do they still follow you, or did you have to start from scratch again, or with the audience that you now got through your published books?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because I've only just really started blogging again, because I thought, okay, I'm going to actually restart my blog and Substack at the same time, not as a way to kind of monetize content or anything like that, but just as a way to kind of get out there really and just pick up where I left off. But I didn't have like a little box to collect subscribers ever.
Yeah.
I was just blogging and people would just go on there. So now I've come back to it. I'm kicking myself, why didn't I have that little box?
Right.
So now it's like starting afresh in many ways.
Yeah. And I find social media a very interesting phenomenon, and I'm interested to hear from you how much of your time it takes up. Do you feel like you cope well with managing how much you do, or does it overwhelm you at any point? Can it overwhelm you?
It can.
Stages?
I just don't let it anymore. I used to. I mean, especially when I was building up my Instagram, I felt really behind. People that were doing the same thing that I'm doing were just way ahead of me and had so many more followers. And so I feel like I had to work really hard on my photography, on everything really.
Yeah.
But I have built up that following, so I'm really happy with that. It's a little community.
Yeah. Do you get many direct messages, and how do you manage replying to them and sort of?
Unfortunately, I don't. It's a mess. My direct messages are a mess, and I kind of just ignore them. I mean, now and again I go in there and I'll reply to a few people, but I'm overloaded, and I just can't reply.
And I guess it's difficult to know which ones are. I'm not gonna say worth replying to, because any message is a message, but it's almost like what has integrity and authenticity, and what should you be replying to, and what should you just ignore?
Exactly. Well, there's a lot of people that kind of just want to sell you stuff as well. I find, or they want something from you that isn't necessarily serving you. But I just think, if it's a serious message, they can just contact me through my website if it's something to do with my work or. And that's what people do tend to do. So I've had people contact me about workshops in the future. That usually comes through my website, and then it comes to my email, and then we connect that way.
What do you mean workshops?
For example, like pierogi making workshops or Polish food workshops.
So you run those?
Yeah.
Oh,
so people contact me. Sometimes there's, for example, like companies that do sort of trend-setting workshops within the food industry.
Right.
And then you do workshops all day, kind of showing people the new trends.
Right.
For example, I did one on rye.
Yeah.
After amber and rye, when I travelled in the Baltic states, I had I had a new perspective on rye being used in sweet stuff, for example.
Right. But
they give you a lot of freedom. You kind of do workshops on whatever you want to do. But I felt that was quite a good thing to start incorporating into cuisine in the West.
My local Sainsbury's, they had rye bread. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Oh, no, that's a
gone.
shame.
And I'm like, that's so weird. But bizarrely, in my local 24-hour off license that sells random things, like some really sweet, sickly, not fruit juice that says it is fruit juice, they have rye bread.
Oh, there you go.
Out. It's amazing.
But you know what, Kabir? You can make rye bread so easily. Just make your own sourdough. It takes 3 days, but it's just a bit of rye flour and water. That's all it is.
Right.
And then you can make bread so easily.
I'm afraid I'm a terrible, terrible cook. But thank you for
thank
you for your confidence. And so, have you ever considered re-entering the world of promo producing, or is that way behind you? Like in,
I definitely wouldn't be against it. I loved the TV industry, and at one point, I really love actually presenting. I started getting into kind of like doing little videos and things like that. And at one point, I got this close. This was actually one of my regrets in my career, because I got so close when I was working at Food Network and I was publishing my book. I got very close to making a bilingual show about Polish cooking.
Right.
It was going to be recorded in 2 languages, and we were working with the Polish office. But unfortunately, everyone got made redundant because the whole company exchanged hands.
Right.
And then that didn't happen.
Right. What's a decision that, with hindsight, looking back, you wish you'd handled differently?
That was in the time that I was kind of traveling to Poland and with these Food Network execs and trying to get this Polish food show off the ground, the Polish office sort of started asking me whether I'd be interested in presenting things in Poland that kind of had nothing to do with it.
Right.
And I, rather than going for it, I said no because I wanted to hold off for this show, which never happened.
Right.
So that was my big regret.
Right. And do you feel that's something you'd like to pick up on now, or do you feel like that opportunity's gone? Because it sounds to me like you make up your mind to do something and you do it. So
you're absolutely right. I do. But I'm just wondering if that's something that's still in me. Like I still make videos and I really enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
Making food videos and doing workshops online, which really picked up during COVID actually.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy presenting, but I'm just not sure if I have that kind of drive to get it done anymore.
Right.
Because that was like such a perfect situation. And I had the contacts at that point. And actually all the contacts that I had, I think, were made redundant.
And I guess it was because it was part of your day job. It wasn't really asking too much of you to consider it and research it. Whereas if you were to do that now, you'd be like, well, I've got all of this other stuff that I'm doing, my blog, my books, and online content, etc., workshops, and also now looking into that.
Well, at one point I was still talking to execs, and after that didn't get off the ground, maybe a year later I tried to pick it up in a different way. Actually, it was something to do with my friends from the food of East European cooking, Elisa Tymoshkina and Olia Hercules, and we thought about doing something together. So I was using those contacts, and then the Ukraine war broke out.
Right.
And then that didn't happen, you know, and then I just kind of gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
It sounds to me like you might actually end up doing it.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'm not getting too old for it now, because, you know, that was a while ago. And now I'm sort of like, you know, is that something I really want to do? I feel like I've kind of moved on a bit.
Yeah. I mean, also, like you said, you are creating content where you are presenting as well. So maybe that's ticking that box in a different way. Maybe.
I mean, if someone asked me, I'd be like, yes, I'm up for it. But will I go out and chase it? And you kind of have to, in the TV industry, you have to be really proactive to get things like that done.
Yeah.
And you have to really, really want it. And I guess I'm just not sure how much I really, really want it, you know?
Yeah, sure. It's the same with anything like that. It's everybody that makes it in whatever capacity, they're very driven. And that is their single-minded focus.
Exactly. So, you know, I think if I really wanted to, I could probably get it done.
Yeah.
But then everything else would have to take a back seat. And at the moment, I am so busy with, you know, my own sort of self-publishing project that that's kind of...
And what's the timeline for you on that?
I'd like to publish it later this year, actually.
Right.
That's the other difference, because normally it takes sort of at least a year to publish a book.
Yeah.
And here you can get something out quite quickly if you self-publish it yourself. But, you know, I mean, I would still go back to the publishing world, absolutely. You know, I love the work, you know, the sort of the care and the love that goes into creating each book. It's amazing. There's a whole team involved. But I think I just needed a new challenge.
Yeah. And so will you bring on an editor as well, or will you do that yourself?
I was thinking about doing it myself, but actually my friend who I know through Sky said she actually has done some copy editing before, and she's volunteered to do it. And I've got people volunteering to test my recipes.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. So that's kind of what my world is about right now.
And are you sharing the ideas with your kids?
Well, the book is kind of based on what we cook at home as well.
That's lovely.
So
Don't tell us too much.
No, I won't.
Sorry, I shouldn't have asked. It's been really great to have you in and hear about your journey and hear what you're up to. And let us know when the book comes out.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been really fun talking about it, actually,
Great.
because you sort of see it from a different perspective when you talk about it.
Thank you anyway.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Zuza.
Kabir.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Creative Moves, Left Career, Right Path, a Cabbage and Bubble TV co-production. Host, Kabir Malik. Producers, Pauline Russell and Kabir Malik. Special thanks to Zuza Zak. Follow us on Instagram at Creative Moves. Subscribe to Creative Moves on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Acast, or wherever you get your podcasts.